In the studio with us, Satchel Joe System. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
TAD Talk's coming, right?
TAD Talks is coming tomorrow night, Wednesday, May 7th. And TAD Talks is a student-led initiative where we... it's an event that we used to do before COVID, and we are now resurrecting it because the students love to do real-world projects. And the reason why we do TAD Talks is because we bring together different people from around the country to share really awesome ideas and have a lot of fun. This year we're going to have Dana Esposito. She's from Massachusetts.
Wow.
And she's going to be talking about communication and how it's important that when we solve problems, we need to understand the problems. Phoebe Matthews is coming from Atlanta, and she's going to talk about not just letting the ordinary slip past and being aware. Tony Lindgren is from Polaris, and he's a manager at Polaris and really has an interest in lean, and he does lean and Six Sigma for Polaris. And Betsy Earle is coming from Florida, and she teaches event management at Bemidji State University and remotely. And so she's coming in to meet up with the students and also do a TAD Talk. And she's going to talk about the importance of how do we navigate in this crazy world and have balance throughout that. And after 35 years of working at Bemidji State University, Steve Sundahl is doing his final send-off. He's doing a talk called Bones. It's going to be a blast. He's going to have chairs on the stage, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then our keynote is Anne-Marie Thomas, and her talk is called Play More. And Anne-Marie just recently got off of the Ocean X boat, which is a very sophisticated vessel. She has a engineering PhD, and she's absolutely amazing. Her talk is going to be about the importance of play and creativity. If we all want to be creative, what does that look like and how does that manifest? And one of the things that she'll talk about is the importance of play in that. She does some work with OK Go, the band, if you've ever watched their cool, fun YouTube videos. Damian Coolish is a super guy, and Anne-Marie is going to be a great talk, and she might throw in a little bit of magic. So, yeah, the premise is, we love we're a part of the School of Technology, Art, and Design, and that's where we get TAD. And so when we do our TAD Talks, we have our exhibit and experience design students, our event design students, our event management students, all working together to plan, manage, and design this amazing experience for people. But one of the things we talk about in this world of events is it's almost like the more people are exposed to technology, there's a relationship with like loneliness, and sometimes we feel disconnected.
Sure. And
so how do we combat this disconnectedness? Sherry Turkle talks about, when we're on a train or a bus together, we're all on our phones, and she calls it what we are is we're alone together. And it's a really interesting idea is when we're all just on our phones, we're sitting next to each other, but we're not actually together. When we're at family events, are we actually together, or are we all just kind of on our own social media? And so a prescription for this disconnectedness is going to be TAD Talks. And so how do we bring people together? And so what we're doing is we have a free event. Again, it's May 7th at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. Hopefully it fills up fast, so get there. And we're going to create a great experience. We have between the speakers, we have a lot of fun events. We have on the program, there's a bingo page. We have a lot of activities where the crowd is going to be competing against each other on different activities, and it should just absolutely be a blast.
Sounds like it.
I'm going to admit I have had a extremely difficult time grasping the concept of technology, art, and design together as one thing.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting thought, and it's something that's really important to me. And so if we think about technology, these are the tools that we have available at our disposal to do things. For example, some people are doing AI art now, and that's something that people weren't able to do because the technology wasn't there until recently. And you think about there's this person named Nearing Oxman, and she's 3D printing with glass and making amazing, beautiful sculptures. And that technology just wasn't available. And so what tools are available to us that we can make with and create really meaningful experiences? And then the art is, how do we actually connect with people and get that aha moment or that connection and that feeling? And then the design is, how are we planning and managing and creating strategy, bringing all these omni-channel approaches together, like marketing and social media and exhibits and events and different things like that. And so technology, art, and design is a framework for seeing the world. My wife's a healthcare provider. Her job's to keep people alive, but she uses technology. There's different technologies that are available to her that weren't available 50 years ago.
Sure.
And the art is that bedside manner, and that design is the plan with the patient and making sure that you're working with the patient to do that. And us as exhibit and experience designers, our job's to make people feel alive. It's something that I feel is just as valuable. But what tools do we have at our disposal to make people feel alive? And how do we create that emotional connection with our guests? And how do we actually plan this out so it's not just chaos?
BSU was one of the first to dive into the deep end in this, weren't they?
Yeah, we about 30 years ago, Kermit Anderson went to Vegas with a group of faculty. Steve Sundahl was a part of that group, and he wanted to create a three-dimensional form of design, thought about architecture, thought about interior design. But what was happening in the 80s is there were a lot of people that were creating these trade show events, and you saw a lot of personalization or markets that were starting. So for example, the Exhibitor Live is a trade show for the event industry, and that started in the 80s, and a lot of shows for their specific industry or their association kind of popped up in the 80s. And Kermit saw this and said, this is a great opportunity to start a program that is unique, and it's almost like temporary architecture. So if you're interested in interior design, graphic design, making people feel alive, events, our exhibit and experience design program started 30 years ago, and then Jim McCracken kind of took it over for a little bit, Mark Schmidt, Bonnie Higgins, and now I'm kind of carrying the torch on that. And then since that's been so successful, we work really close with industry, and they looked at the ecosystem of jobs that exists in the event industry. And yes, we place a lot of designers in the event industry, but they said, how can we work together to fill other jobs in this ecosystem? And so we currently have event management program that's relatively new, and we got a lot of support from industry. And now the hope is, as we graduate those students, we can graduate those students into detailing jobs, estimating jobs, and project management jobs, because so much money is made and lost in the project management phase of an event.
Sure. Well, I just said, being in the event business myself, it wasn't an industry that had a lot of technology other than your cell phone and a computer. But now apparently it's a focus.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. We take students to an event called SEMA. It's one of the largest trade shows in North America, and if you sell stuff that goes on cars, you would sell it at SEMA. So airbags and tires and wheels and the paint. And it's an amazing show, but you walk around and there's a lot of exhibits, but there's also a ton of digital content, and they're doing podcasts in different areas, and they're doing these different sessions with really well-known people. We were fortunate enough to hang out with the Foose design people.
Wow.
He designed all the characters in the movie Cars, and it was great that the students got to hang out with him. But he's building content, and these experiences are about the 3 weeks before and the 3 weeks after, not just the days of the experience. And you see that at music festivals, and you see that all over the place, of just it's not just the face-to-face stuff. It's also all this digital content that's going to get reused in social media and other avenues.
Wow. So that's TAD Talks tomorrow night.
TAD Talks tomorrow night, May 7th, 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. Be there. It's going to be a scream.
Where is it?
It's in the Bangsberg main theater on campus. One of the things that's really important to me, I'm originally from here, lived in Las Vegas for a little bit, in Atlanta for a little bit, and did a lot of some work in Chicago during my graduate work. And I'm originally from here, and it's really important for me to build experiences that blend the greater Minnesota community with the campus life, and I sometimes wonder how we can do more of that. And this is a great example of how we're creating a free experience to bring the community to campus. And so if you're not doing anything, or even if you are, you should change your plans and come check out TAD Talks. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, it's free. We're going to have some giveaways. And we really just want to make people feel alive and bring this community to life.
The talks are always interesting, different views, and you'll learn something just in their brief, 10 to 12 minutes for most of them?
Yep, most talks are going to be between 10 and 12 minutes, and then the keynote is going to be about 20 to 23 minutes. But, once the event goes live, they're going to be as long as they're going to be.
There you go. It's free. It's tomorrow
free.
Night.
Yep. Should be a blast.
Thanks for coming in.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.